Voila! A common question I get asked by various clients over the many years is how I got into this field of work in sports therapy. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a back story on how I got involved with this and why. So I used to be heavily involved with athletics and distance running, and going back to 1986, so I was 19. I was doing pretty well. I just come second in the Welsh Junior Championships at 1500 meters. I was also running longer distances, 10 miles half marathon. But at that time, I was an apprentice heavy goods mechanic. So I was working on buses and trucks at a main dealer in Cardiff. And in 86, towards the end of the summer, I developed pain in the outside of my right knee. And it got to the stage where I could barely run. Or if I did, I had to be so slow that it was a waste of time. But anytime I tried to increase the distance or the pace, excruciating pain on the knee. So a friend and training partner of mine at the time was going to a physio in Cardiff. This was mainly for maintenance work. So if he developed a bit of aching muscles, sore hamstrings, he'd go and have a bit of a massage and stretch out. So he said, why not go along and see what they can do for you? So I went along and cut to the chase. I went once a week for 3 months, every week for 3 months, £10 a session. At a time as an apprentice, I was probably earning somewhere between £30 and £35 a week. So a big chunk of my money going out. Anyway, it got to 3 months in, and I was going back every week, having exactly the same treatment. No difference in the pain. Still unable to run. So over an 18-month period, I probably went to see 5 different therapists of different types. Some of them would be a one-off session. I'd done a bit of ultrasound and come away thinking it's not going to do anything for me. Some I'd go weekly for 2 months, no difference. And I was in college doing my apprenticeship, and one of the technicians there was a very good runner, an international runner. And I was talking to him. He said, "I'll see if I can get you to go and see this guy." Now, this chap was a physio in one of the major Cardiff University hospitals, but he didn't do private work. So a friend begged this person, and this person is Ian Ellis. Now, I've asked permission from Ian to mention him in this video, and he was a GB international marathon runner. I'm sure he would have won Welsh championships over 10 miles, half marathon, various distances. So, like I say, he didn't do private work, but he agreed to see me. My friend begged him, really helped me out there. So anyway, one Friday night, I drove into Cardiff, went to the guy's house, Ian's house, took me upstairs to one of the beds, took a history. Now, I was a heavy goods mechanic apprentice, so I would spend several hours underneath trucks, buses, kneeling down. And so he took a history, and within a few minutes, he said, I know what's going on here. Basically, hamstring tendon behind the knee had become chronically tight. So I was probably on his one of his kids' beds for 10-15 minutes, and he got in there with his thumbs and stretched it out. And believe me, I was crying. The pain was unbelievable. Anyway, 10-15 minutes worth of work. Advised me on what to do going forwards in terms of training and stretching. I thought, I've just had 18 months of this. No way I'm going to be okay after this. Anyway, a bit bruised and battered for 2 or 3 days, limping a bit because of the pain from the treatment. And then was doing the stretching, and sort of 3 to 4 days in, no pain. Starting back, gradual increase in running. Never had a problem again with it. And I just thought I would have paid him everything I'd paid to all those other therapists over that 18 months. I would have given him all that money to sort me out in that one session. And that really got me into thinking that I'd love to be involved in something in some sort of work like that. So a couple of years later, I was going to a different physiotherapist for other totally unrelated problems, discussing with her. I'd love to go into sort of physiotherapy, and she basically put me off it because I wanted to be involved with sport, and the NHS system doesn't like it if you're going into a sport, going into it with a view to going into sport, because you'll be going away from the NHS and going to private practice. And a year or so later, she was developing, along with someone else, a sports massage course. I think it was 9 months, and it was anatomy, physiology, um, the ins and outs of stretching and mobility and different things that made up the course. And I really enjoyed it. So the next few years, I was treating fellow runners for aches and pains, but wasn't really qualified to treat actual injuries. And sometimes people would come to me and say, well, I need now to know how to train properly, how to do fitness. So I became a personal trainer. And then a year or two later, I did actual sports therapy diploma in Cardiff. Really good course, really well taught. It's no longer available because sports therapy is now a degree course. A couple of years later, I studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, for 2 years, with a view to communicating better with clients. I did another sports therapy diploma a few years later, and over the years, I've always done ongoing professional training. And so that's how I got into this. And so this is now my 32nd year involved with this type of work. And hopefully, past clients will say, I will do my utmost to get you done in 1 or 2 sessions as quickly as possible. I'm not someone that will get you coming back time and time again, taking your money, and not seeing a benefit. Because that's what I want. I want people to get back doing their activity, even if it's work, getting back to work, getting out of pain as quick as possible. And hopefully people will think that of me. And I'm not someone that will say, you come into the treatment room and say, oh, you're going to need 10 sessions for that. How do I know how you're going to react to treatment? Yes, generally, someone will need 2 to 3 sessions. But quite often I'll treat someone in 1 session and say, you need to go away and do this stretching, this exercise, this strengthening. But you shouldn't have any problems going forward. So again, I like to reiterate with people, my background is sports therapy. It's different to physiotherapy. Physiotherapy's got several different strands to it. You can be physio for treating breathing disorders, brain injury, geriatric rehabilitation. There's several different strands to physiotherapy, and I particularly want to be involved with sport. So the courses I dealt with were sports therapy, and again, you've got chiropractic, osteopathy. They all work slightly differently, but also quite similar. So hope that gives you some insight into my background, and leave some comments, questions in the comment section below.